Today we're looking at ecology. So what is ecology? It is the study of the environment and the organisms around you. It is a study of all of the things around you, the actual physical area, the conditions, and of course the animals, plants and organisms which live within that area. Now, first one, of course, look at is ecosystem, as a word we may use in this topic. Ecosystem is the environment of the place around you. It is the conditions, it is the environment of the location around you. Habitats are the places where organisms live. So this could be a jungle or a forest or a desert or a lagoon or lake. This is the habitat. Now, within habitats, some locations may have things called microhabitats. I'll give you an example. We're in the Kuwait Desert. So the Kuwait Desert is obviously very dry, very arid, not much shelter, not very hospitable conditions. But imagine you're at an oasis, a kind of water hole coming up through the ground, an aquifer that has emerged through the sand. Now we have our harsh desert conditions, and in one specific location, there is a water supply, which of course will allow plants and trees to colonize. It will allow small animals and maybe camels on their crossing the desert to use this watering hole, this oasis. That is a microhabitat. Imagine you are an organism living under a bridge, for example. The conditions would be different to outside that sheltered bridge. So let's say you're in Kuwait and you're looking at a main road, the 30 highway. It is, again, warm, dry, quite arid. Yet if you were a cat, for example, that lived on that walkway, but under the bridge, you would be exposed to a cooler environment. You would be exposed to probably more small mammals to eat. You maybe have more shelter. This is a microhabitat within the larger habitat. So now we'll look at consumers and producers. Now you'll remember this from year 7, I assume. A producer, as the word suggests, produces food. Now remember, a producer does not produce energy. Nothing produces energy. Physics will tell you. We convert from one form to another. So a producer makes food. It makes chemical energy stores from another source. Now we know, of course, photosynthesis, so we understand the source. The sun is the source of 99.99% of all of our energy. The sun powers photosynthesis. The plant, therefore, grows and produces physical matter. The tree gets bigger. The fruits form on the tree. The grass gets longer. This is a producer. It produces food from the sunlight energy via photosynthesis. Right. Now we have consumers. Consumers consume. There are many types of consumer. The first one is the primary consumer. This is the first thing that will eat the producer. So it is a herbivore. A herbivore is a plant-eating organism, and it is the primary consumer. Think of the food chain grass, rabbit, fox. Inevitably, the next organism will be a carnivore because it is eating meat. It is eating animal produce. Grass, producer. Rabbit, primary consumer, herbivore. Fox, secondary consumer, carnivore. Grizzly bears, as I'm sure you know, hibernate. They sleep through parts of the winter when it's too harsh for them to survive on the surface. Now, when they're desperate, and they often are quite hungry, they will eat berries, they will eat fruits, they will eat from trees and basically forage, just for fuel, sugar, sugar, sugar. Now, this means they are not just a carnivore, because they are eating the salmon from the lakes and rivers, but they're also eating plant material. They are termed omnivores. An omnivore is an organism which eats both plant and animal material. And of course, most humans are omnivores. These are then the consumers and the producers. A producer produces food or fuel from the energy of the sun in photosynthesis. A primary consumer would be a herbivore eating the plant material, and then our secondary consumer would almost always be a carnivore, or in some cases an omnivore, which is an organism which eats both plant and animal. And then any subsequent layers would be, of course, almost definitely carnivores. Check out the next video in this series, Ecology 2, Food Chains and Food Webs.